Hey beautiful ones, it's Francesca of HeyFranHey.com. So first I want to start this video off by thanking you guys for all of the really cool, positive, embracing energy that was sent my way in regards to the first video, the importance of mental and emotional hygiene. It can be a little scary when you're known for a particular type of content, skincare, hair care, nutrition. It can be scary when you are looking to evolve past that or open the channel up to, different types of information, and you know that you're going to be met with a little bit of resistance, so it can create a bit of anxiety to share more of yourself. But then I just took the leap of faith, figuring that I had to do it because this is just where I am in my life. And to my surprise, you guys really connected. It seemed to resonate. Received so many really cool emails and comments. And there's nothing cooler than people being like, oh, I felt like you were speaking to me, or I'm feeling the same way, because it just goes to show that we're all so much more connected than we realize. And let it also be a lesson to all of us that sometimes your biggest fears and your biggest obstacles are all in your head. Because I was nervous about it, and then I did it, and then it turned out great. And I literally was met with no resistance. The resistance was all my own. So thank you for that, and I really appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to us continuing to grow and push each other in this channel in lots and lots of different ways. To backtrack a bit and give you guys some personal background on what it is that even inspired me to add this mental health component to the channel. I was raised by a single mom. She was that quintessential superwoman mom, the one that worked super hard, went to school, raised me, made sure I had absolutely everything. I never really went without. We didn't have a lot, but I never went without. And we were also living with my grandparents. So the cool thing is that, yes, single mom, but I still had my grandfather there to offer me the male perspective and give me, his tools as a man so that I can navigate the world. Now, the thing about being raised by humans is that while you come into the world as a blank canvas, but very quickly you are programmed to see the world through their eyes, through their perspective. So yes, it was amazing to be raised by this woman who was showing me that she could do anything, and then in turn I could do anything. The thing with that is that while she was excelling, there was still this wall when it came to our emotional exchanges, because my mom was very much so of the school of thought of zip it, internalize it. You don't know hard living. I had a hard life. I came here to give you a better life, so that you can go to the best schools and you can get a job and you can do everything that I didn't have the opportunity to do. So there was always that guilt whenever I would be going through something of not wanting to really share it with her or complain, because here she was busting her butt so that I could have this better life. And so I very quickly learned, just work, just go to the good schools, get good grades so that she can just be happy. And then when it came to my grandfather, he was the church man. He was the one that was heavily driven by faith. I literally remember my grandfather being in church every day. He was not the Sunday kind of guy. He was the everyday kind of guy. So our conversations when it came to anything that I was trying to figure out growing up was always leave it to God, pray, don't worry about it, there's nothing you can do to fix it, just leave it to God. And here I was going to all the best schools that I could possibly go to and getting all the best jobs, as I got older, that I could possibly get. I was praying and doing all these things, and it was like, well, then why do I still feel this emptiness, this something wasn't right. I still didn't feel centered. My mom clearly wasn't centered, because I would see her emotional turmoil in her face, even though she internalized it. My grandfather, I would see his emotional turmoil at home too, because he was one person at church, but at home he was a completely different person. So it almost always felt like, they're still acting in a way, you know what I mean? This is still a representative that they are showing to the world, and deep down in their private thoughts, it's a whole different ballgame. Since those are the tools that they instilled in me, that's all I had to go with. And I did that for a long time. A day came where I ended up getting extremely sick. My kidney completely just started getting all these infections and stones and blockage, and after a while it just started malfunctioning on me. I had no idea what this was coming from, but you know, in hindsight, how could it not have happened? If you're going through emotional turmoil and you don't have the tools to fix it, it's going to spill out some way. I mean, it has to go somewhere. I, started eating better and started reading more books on spirituality and the minds, and I started attracting a lot of like-minded individuals that were sort of on this quest for a better quality of life. There are things that you can do when you don't feel well, and it's not about internalizing it and just focusing on your career and hoping that status and a lot of money will change all of that. And yes, God is amazing, and having faith in God and whatever your denomination is helpful, but it's not enough. There's still work that needs to be done. There's still that personal relationship that you have with yourself, where you're sitting at home asking yourself, why is it that I still feel so uncomfortable? Why is it that I'm still so unhappy? And how can I trace it, and how can I fix it? Once I started realizing that this was a thing, that work was needed for the mind, for the spirit, I became totally wrapped in the lifestyle. And that's where, this whole Hey Friend Hey thing came along, where I started working out. Like I said in the first video, when you work out, it, shifts all of that turmoil, all that chaos that you're feeling, it shifts it around. It gives you the opportunity to breathe and think with a clear head and actually rationalize and sift through your thoughts. That combined with eating well, the foods, the vitamins, the nutrients were, feeding my cells, so my body was feeling better. I looked better, I was glowing, because, I'd been sick, so this kind of gave me life back. So all of that was feeling really good, and then I was meeting all these spiritual people, and the conversations we would have about the stars and the moon and the universe. I started noticing that even with the spiritual people that I was meeting and learning from and growing with and evolving with, there was still something missing even with them. And I noticed that a lot of them would be so great at giving all of this really awesome advice and giving you the tools you needed to navigate through your spiritual journey. But then in their private moments, which I got to experience with a couple of the ones that I got really close to, I noticed that they were still just as unhappy. And then becoming this spiritual person is still not it. So what was missing? A lot of them were still struggling financially, and then they would talk about like manifesting your dreams, but then, they'd be broke. But a lot of them would be in these awful financial binds and still like really, really stressed and still kind of lost in a lot of ways. And it's one thing to live and be humble because it's a choice, to be minimalist. And it's another thing to do it because you have no other choice. And I noticed a lot of the spiritual people, they had this spiritual development down, but there was still a lot of emptiness when it came to who they actually were and what it is that they wanted to accomplish and contribute to the world. So to me, that still said a lot, about what they believed about themselves and their actual power of manifestation. So, and the fourth and final puzzle piece that really put a lot into perspective for me was watching a lot of my really close friends excel beyond belief. I'm talking about into stardom, becoming celebrities, becoming multimillionaires. And what that did for me, watching that level of evolution, was that it showed me that your demons, your aches, your pains, all of those shadow feelings that you've kind of swept under the rug aren't necessarily always going to get in the way of you accomplishing your dreams and goals. But what they do is that they go right along with you. What that does is that it creates this intense sadness. You made it so far thinking that you would outrun those feelings, but what happens is that they just become magnified, because now your life is so much bigger and you have less time to deal with them. These perspectives were necessarily wrong. My mom showing me how to grind and really work for what you want. My grandfather teaching me the importance of creating this personal relationship with God and having a strong faith. The yogis, the spiritual folks teaching me the importance of self-care and really worshiping yourself. My peers who excelled showing me that you can actually make it, that these dreams, these things you imagine are very, very real. What was missing, and what was, I guess, the common denominator in all of them, was that their personal growth outside of these definitions they had created for themselves had been stunted. They had left it behind thinking the void would be fulfilled in these labels, in these paths. I know it sounds cheesy and you've heard it a million times. The only path is inward. And so what I learned through watching everyone else, being blessed to watch everyone else, is that I had to run in the direction of my aches and pains, not in the opposite direction, because you will never outrun them, no matter how well you do. And so that's what this series is. This series is me showing you, putting on the table all of my aches and pains, how I've confronted them, the tools I've been using to work through them, to better understand them, in hopes that through you watching my aches, you will see yours. Because the reality is, I don't have the answers to your aches. I mean, I'm just now figuring the answers to mine. And no matter what anyone tells you, no one has the answers for you. But what I do have is some perspective to show you. And I hope that that perspective will inspire you to set aside that time to work on your aches as well. We're gonna start with our parents, and how our parents have formed our perspective, because we see the world through their eyes. How that perspective then molded our childhoods, you know, and then how our childhoods being so affected by them then affected our relationships with our friends and our romantic partners, and how those relationships then affected our life choices, how those life choices then went on to affect our dreams and careers, and how those dreams and careers has affected your sense of self-worth and your self-esteem, and how you currently, while you're sitting here watching this video, how you are currently feeling about yourself. We're gonna dig all those graves of all those feelings you have hidden away, hoping that, you know, social media and Love and Hip Hop and all these shows will allow you to just escape those feelings. But right now, we're not gonna escape them. When we all get to where we're trying to go, then when we finally get there, we feel good about it. We've worked out all of the kinks. We've cleaned out all the little nooks and crannies so that all of the fruits of our labor can be enjoyed in peace, in ultimate freedom. I mean, isn't that the goal? Let me know if this resonated with you by rating it. Let me know how you're feeling by leaving comments. Let's keep the conversation going, of course, because that's what this whole series is about. Us engaging and helping each other figure some things out. As always, I love you so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.